Detachment is not about shutting off your emotions. It's about controlling your emotions instead of desperately trying to control other people. You can't control how other people behave. You can control how you feel about it. Your emotions are not the enemy. If you master them, you'll be able to win at life. You'll be able to win in dating, in relationships, other relationships, in your career. You'll be able to manifest more than you thought you were able to. So if you listen to this video, you'll be able to master your emotions. I'm going to give you 4 steps. So why do we need to master our emotions? Let me just give you a quick story. When I was super emotional, and I'm still very emotional, I used to have the fear of abandonment. So I used to be very afraid that the people in my life will abandon me, and I used to be anxiously attached. So that obviously means that if you are anxiously attached, that means that you will stick with people that aren't good for you. You choose people that aren't good for you because you just can't be alone. That is the main problem with being anxiously attached. You fear being alone. So you'd choose people that aren't good for you, and you would also be in one-sided relationships because you are trying to please this other person and you're trying to prove to them why you are worthwhile. And not only does that push people away, it just screams desperation. Let me give you a scenario. So say you are in a situationship and you've been with this guy, you've been on and off with this guy for 6 months, 7 months, and you really want that relationship title, but he doesn't want to give it to you because he's still playing the fields and he still wants to be single. He's still looking out for his options, So you, on the other hand, want a relationship, and this triggers you, right? So this could cause you to spiral out of control. Like, let's say you haven't heard from him all day. You're going to be thinking, oh, like, is he with another girl? What's he doing? Maybe I should come over to his place. Like, he hasn't been picking up, blah, blah, blah. Has he ghosted me? You're going to be spiraling. You're going to be obsessive, and you're going to be ruminating. And you find yourself on the internet trying to search for answers, right? That is what happens when you don't master your emotions. So not mastering your emotions will lead you into choosing people who are not right for you. Not mastering your emotions will have you chasing validation that just never is enough. So if this guy ends up giving you a title, you're still going to feel not good enough because you feel like you had to work for it. And ultimately, you shouldn't have to work for love, and you shouldn't have to work to prove that you're enough. You shouldn't have to earn love. So whatever validation this person gives you will never be enough because you have had to work for it. And it's coming from a void. You need that validation because you're trying to fill a void, but external validation will never fill that void that's within you. And this type, like, not understanding your emotions, not mastering it, will also lead you to be in one-sided relationships, which is what we're trying to avoid. One-sided relationships where you put in all the effort and that person doesn't put in anything, where you do all the emotional work and that person isn't doing anything to sustain the relationship. So how can we master our emotions? Step 1, you have to know your triggers. In order to know your triggers, you have to be very self-aware. And you cannot master something until you understand it completely. So let's say your trigger is you don't get a text back. Ask yourself why. Be curious about the experiences that you have. Be curious about your emotions and your inner world and your inner thoughts and your feelings. Ask yourself, why do you get triggered when you don't get a text back? And step 2 is find out what actions you take when you're triggered. So do you show up at their house? Do you curse? Do you get on the phone? Do you want to call them? Are you angry? Like, do you want to break up with somebody because you're triggered? It's very important to know what actions you take when you're triggered, because that would enable you to prepare beforehand so that you can be still, which leads me into the third step. You have to hold still before reacting. You have to pause and feel the uncomfortable emotions that you have within. It's going to be uncomfortable because you haven't had to face your emotions. When you are super attached, you are allowing yourself to rely on other people to soothe you. But this time around, instead of giving other people the responsibility of our uncomfortable emotions, we need to go within and sit with that urge to want to double text them, to want to like chase them on social media, to want to show up at their house, to want to block them, to want to break up with them. Before doing anything irrational, you have to sit with yourself, sit with the uncomfortable feeling, and ask yourself, what can I do to make myself feel better in this moment? Ruminating, obsessing, and spiraling out of control is not the answer. That leads me into my fourth point. So, you need to develop a rich inner world. This is something that you always come back to when you're triggered. When you have a rich inner world, nobody can take that away from you. I read somewhere on Instagram, it was this caption that really stole my heart. It says, made from affirmations and self-love, you can't break a woman like that. I know that's right, So develop your rich inner self. Nobody can take that away from you. Figure out what it is that makes you feel good. What are your passions? What do you like to do? I read in a book, Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents. If you've had emotionally immature parents, I recommend you getting that book. So, this book, there's a chapter called Trusting Your Inner World. So the thing is, with emotionally immature parents, they have taken away your liberty of experiencing your feelings, your ideas, your interests. So all you need to do now is to reparent yourself. You need to go back to the things that you love to do as a child. Like, I really just discovered that I like singing again. I like to dance. I like music. I love creating new playlists. I like to cook. I love to try new foods. When I'm having cravings, I like to go down to the store to get myself some treats. I love self-care. I love trying new hair products. Like, my bathroom is filled with different self-care products that I love to try, and that could be unique to you. You could love to read, you could love to do yoga, you could like to express yourself with fashion, you could like to express yourself with makeup, hair. Figure out what it is that you love to do that just makes you so happy. And when you found that thing, right, you have this relationship, this beautiful relationship with yourself. And it doesn't matter like who comes in, who leaves, who comes back again. You're whole, you're complete. And your self-esteem isn't based on what other people are doing. I started this video saying that you can't control what other people do, but you can control how you feel about it. You need your rich inner world to be complete. If you don't have your rich inner world, you will always feel empty. You will always feel like there's something missing. You always feel like you need accolades. You need a relationship to be whole and complete. you need status, you need attention to be whole and complete. No, you need your inner child to be whole and complete. You need your inner world to be whole and complete. So yes, I hope you find that thing that makes you feel really good, because honestly, once you find it, your life is so peaceful, you're so happy. You know, when you're a child and you express yourself, maybe you were shut down by someone, your parents or a friend at the time, or a bully, you know, don't allow people to dictate what it is that you enjoy to do or what it is that you're supposed to do. You have to figure out what it is. No matter how embarrassing you think it is, there are other people who would love to enjoy that with you. And the whole point of this is not to find people to enjoy it with. Honestly, it's better to spend time doing what you love alone. And then, of course, you can now have your relationships outside of that. You need to build your inner world, something that you can always come back to. Whenever you're mad, you're sad, you're triggered, you always come back to it. Like, I could give you a few examples of what I do when I'm triggered. Like, it could be, for me, I love to clean. And well, I don't love to clean, but there's something so therapeutic about cleaning, you know, and just listening to music on a Sunday. It's beautiful. I love finding out new self-care products. So it could be a new scrub, a new shower gel, a new bath bomb, a new makeup item that I can like experiment with, you know? Like, these things are it just makes me feel good. And once you find that for yourself, it could be, let me think, it could be reading books. I love to read books. You could start with anything that just sparks your interest. Like, what are you interested in? What is it that you've always wanted to do but you never had time for? Do that right there, like where you're thinking about this guy and how you haven't heard from him. Do that, and you'll find that you don't even think about him, because it wasn't about him. You were searching for yourself. Figure out who you are when nobody's looking, and that person is going to be very crucial, because that's the person that you're going to go back to when you're triggered. So as always, I love you guys so much. I've been so ill in the past couple of weeks. That's why I haven't recorded any video, but I'm back again and I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, I love you so much. Until next time, bye.